All right. Hey guys, welcome back. Fitness with just a few sides. Coming back at you from Rogue Personal Training. We got the owner of Rogue Personal Training here today, Landon Braine. Always with me is Cole Williams, and then myself, Brandon Hancock. We got a pretty awesome show planned ahead once I find my notes, but we're going to talk about youth fitness. I had a few people actually message me some questions, so I hope you guys are ready for some questions that you're probably not prepared for, which is great, but so that people know you actually know what you're talking about.
Just because we answer them doesn't mean we know what we're talking about.
True. But first off, Landon, sort of tell us about yourself, tell us about the gym, your fitness journey, the whole thing, man.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I was like these guys, like just played sports all my life, always into fitness. Kind of went to college and played ball, and then kind of went from there. Started doing some martial arts. At the gym I was at, I started teaching classes. Had some people ask me to start personally training them individually, and asked the owner if that was all right. And, at the time I was probably 20 years old, 19, and just kind of fell in love with it from there. Knew that was something that I wanted to do. I was going to school for athletic training, kind of transitioned over to exercise science at that point. And that's the story. Kind of went and worked at several gyms, worked for a couple other people. Decided I could do it better on my own, or have more freedom to express my concepts on my own. So I opened the gym. It was like 9 years ago now.
Nice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And people like your techniques though, man. I mean, you guys are pretty full in here. You both have a pretty full schedule.
Yeah, got a killer clientele, and
I'm one of them, by the way.
That's it. It's just like, I felt limited in the situation I was in, so kind of opened it up for myself, Cole as well, and moved several locations up to this point. Now we're at a 8,000 square foot facility, and
awesome.
Have a lot of room and equipment availability to get done what we need to get done.
It's a nice place, man. I know for sure. Like when I put it on the Instagram, people always comment about the gym. I know Cole has the same thing. People always asking, man, where's that gym at? So I always make sure I throw it in there. But yeah, love the gym. Awesome place. Cole, you played college football too, right?
Yeah.
Did you do anything else in college or just college football?
After I was done,
Went
I
to school.
retired. I did go to class. I did a few things. No. But I also rowed after I was done.
Oh, so you're a rower?
I was on the rowing team.
In a landlocked state?
In a landlocked state?
Yeah, we're landlocked. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you?
I guess most of our rowing wasn't here, but yes.
Yeah. Was that pretty so in a landlocked state? I know. You said that lots weren't here, but did you? I saw a picture once with you and your sister, and it was like a machine.
Rowing erg.
So they do that too in college? Is that like a normal competition?
Really, that's the only one we ever did like that, and that was in Wichita.
So that was the only one?
It's the only one I've ever done.
I just thought that looked pretty cool when I saw that picture, so I just wanted to ask about it. I made sure I wrote it in my notes.
No, it's pretty cool. You should check it out sometime. Go to.
Well, I'm thinking about doing it since I'm back in school full time. I'm just like, hell, why not? I got the time. Might as well just start. Well, I gotta wait for this damn COVID to go away first, and then start rowing. But okay, well, before we start, Landon, I just gotta ask you a question. I probably know your answer to this one, but me and Cole have had a few debates throughout the time since we started. One, should you wear the same type of clothing? Should you wear Nike, or do you care? Do you even care at all?
No. I've heard you guys talk about this.
Did you?
In the gym, just hanging out. But for myself, man, I just wear what's comfortable. Whatever gets the job done for the day.
Yeah.
Whatever I have in my gym bag at the time.
I think that's 6 people now that agree with Cole, and I have one person, one of my friends, who called me and said, hey man, you're right.
Man, I don't even care. I'll go to Walmart and pick out 10 different brands, and they're all cheap. It's just what's affordable. Yeah. It's all functionality, so it all serves the same purpose, right?
Well, I guess I suck at being right. All right, so you guys ready to jump in some youth fitness, get in some questions, whatever?
Let's go.
Awesome. Let's do it. Okay, guys. So youth fitness. First off, I'll start off with you, Landon. I'm more interested in what's the benefits of like youth fitness. You know, so someone that's around the ages of 8 to 12 is what's the benefits of getting them started early in the
Right.
gym?
No, I think number one with kids that age, building body awareness early, right? So letting them understand like how their body moves within a given space is
Yeah.
basically the definition of body awareness. So you can start to develop that, and then if you can enhance it with exercise movements, then they start to have those learned behaviors as they transition into some of their weights classes, and they're more prepared for the future.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's just the basics, understanding how their body moves with different leverages, and you know, if you start that early, it's just a safer way to go about the process to move forward. So,
All right.
And that's, I mean, same thing. Just kind of learning how to move the body. And it doesn't even, necessarily have to be in here. I mean, while you're doing this, but
Well, you guys have fitness classes in here too, right?
Yeah.
What, you guys do that too.
yeah, but I mean, not even moving your body, to lift weights, but later on down the road, just, functionality wise and stuff, just being able to control your body and being coordinated, I guess.
I mean, it's no different than like playing catch with a kid, right?
Yeah, for
Hand-eye
sure.
coordination, like
Exactly.
repetition. Your kid's not going to catch the ball every time for the first week you do it, but you do it a second week and a third week.
Yeah, for sure.
So just coming in and moving your body in a way that it doesn't normally function or hasn't up to that point, I think that's where the benefit comes in, is that you do it repetition wise, you're going to learn how to move your body in that way.
I mean, it's like the same thing too, like with baseball or any other sport, you play competitive sports, you have recreational sports, it's just the way you go about it. You can see the guys that advance a lot faster because they're in more of a rigorous training program compared to like a rec league where they're like, oh, just do it, have fun, and enjoy that stuff, So that's why I think like youth fitness is very important, One reason is it's like, I like to control my son's fitness because when I was younger, like Cole knows this because when I started benching, I was benching all weird and stuff, and I've been doing that since I was in high school, man. And so I have shoulder problems today, and I guarantee it's because I was coaches were throwing stuff on the bar, like, hey, put some weight up there, So I think youth fitness is important, but like you guys said, it's very important. Like you get the muscle movements and you get the muscle memory and everything down correctly, What's that?
I also think it's important just hopefully that once you start them young, hopefully that's something they stick with, and there's a lot of kids that don't do anything
Yeah.
as far as exercise, and I think it's just important to start them off early exercising just to keep it in their routine, keep it in their habits.
So-
Yeah, building those basic like healthy habits early, so that way hopefully it continues throughout life.
So when's too early to start working out, or is there like an age group? So I understand like weights, like I'm talking about like lifting heavy. Like what's too early to start lifting? Like when should we start lifting heavy? Would you suggest? Because me it's sophomore, junior year. So like super heavy because I feel like the muscles and bodies are still growing and everything. But I'm just a dad. As you guys as coaches, what would you guys?
That's a good question. Like with my kids, my athletes that come in, no matter what their age is, it's all based on the individual. You have some kids that develop faster than others. You have kids that just have that built-in like body awareness. They understand how their body moves, so they're going to be at a higher level. They're going to be able to get on some of those weights and stuff at an earlier point, as opposed to those kids that are still going through that learning process. So I think you have to take the individual into account, and then you take into the like physiological like growth factors of a child. Where they're at within their growth period.
Yeah, for sure.
From the ages of what, 12 to 14, 12 to 16, they could be at
They're good.
way varying levels.
Yep.
So you have to, that's still individualized. You have to take into account a lot of factors. If they can do it on a playground, as far as like pull-ups, climbing, swinging, squatting, jumping, they can probably do it in a gym in a more structured atmosphere to benefit from it and advance their like athletic and fitness level.
Yeah.
So if you see them doing it on the playground, say go play with your friends, and they're doing similar movements, you replicate those movements in a more focused way, environment, as far as like a gym or a training studio, and they're going to be fairly safe.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, sure.
you don't have to worry too much on that. But as far as like maxing out, you know, going to the point of failure with like a 1 or 2 rep, you know, I think that needs to hold off to a certain degree. I would rather have a kid do repetitions to failure at a younger age as opposed to a true weighted single rep or 2 rep max.
Yeah, I agree.
So instead of just saying the same thing he did, I'll kind of just go in a little bit different direction. It's kind of something we touched on the last question. But this isn't so much age, but it's, you know, you kind of want to look at how the person can control their body. If they have the movements down before you throw them on heavy weight, it doesn't matter how old they are. If they're not doing the exercise right or can't control their body during that exercise, I don't want to throw that heavy weight on them anyways. It doesn't matter if they're 16 or 30, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, it's just kind of talking about what he was talking about, just making sure that they're able to do it before you do that. So,
So
basically a point to where they're able to.
So do you guys teach them gym form? That's pretty important, you know. But what about etiquette? Do you guys teach them some like etiquette too, or gym etiquette? Like don't hog the rack and talk to your friends for 7 hours.
Like 100%. Like the first thing I say was, especially those like younger middle school, high school kids, is it's not so much the etiquette. It's know who's around you and respect those people that's around you, right? Respect the environment. So if we have certain people in here or different age ranges in here, and they think that there may be a issue with maybe the music we're playing or something along those lines, you know, you're going to modify that so that way it's respectful to everybody in the gym and not just catered to yourself. It's just being like, not being selfish while in the gym, right?
Yeah, for
like
sure.
sitting on a rack and taking your time and unnecessarily taking your time and taking that availability away from somebody else is being selfish. You know, looking out for
And
yourself.
frustrating for other people.
Right.
See, the thing
right.
about like what we do here though is, I mean, yeah, we can tell them to do that at another gym, but like when they're working out here, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
they don't have the availability to do that. You know, they're not allowed to sit there.
You don't have the time to do it. Okay, you just got done. Do this. Like you.
Yeah. There's
No.
not a lot of downtime. In
I
the gym.
noticed. Yeah, I felt
Yeah,
that
no,
before.
we want to get the most out of our hours here. For
Oh,
sure.
you
So,
do. Oh my god. So here's another question. So I've been criticized on this with my son and my daughter. My daughter actually more than my son. So my kids do something wrong, right? I punish them, but I punish them with fitness. I punish them with push-ups, overhead arm claps. I do squats. I do burpees. I do everything, you know. So do you think? What's your thoughts on punishment with fitness? I'll let you go first, Cole. I'll let you go first.
I mean, like I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, while I was growing up, youth sports, high school sports, college sports, every year you're punished with the same thing. Fitness. You do something wrong, it's running. You know, some kind of exercise.
Up, down.
Yeah, something to make you throw up.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, so I mean, it never had any negative effect on me. I was never to a point where I was like, man, I hate doing this.
It never pushed you away from fitness, though, right? Never pushed
right.
you away from the gym or nothing like that.
No, and honestly, it probably made me want to come, you know, be in here more, work out more. So that way, when I had to do it, it didn't suck quite as bad.
Yeah.
But no, I never had a problem. You know, coming back to practice the next day. You know, obviously, I didn't enjoy running
Yeah.
or whatever when I got in trouble, but.
Exactly. I didn't enjoy those 50 sprints, but you know what you did enjoy doing though? Bragging about it to your friends. You know,
Right.
You know, how many times did you get in trouble and you get the crappiest workout, and then you go like, "Oh, I'm one-upping you with how crappy my workout." You know what I mean? We
Right.
bragged about how much we got punished because we did this much stuff. You know. Okay. Sorry. I'm very vocal about that part.
No, I think we do that with all of our workouts. Like, you know, people we train that come in here and they're like, you hear them talking to other people about like how bad their workout was for the day, but
Yeah.
at the time they hated it.
Yeah.
But then they're going to go tell everybody what they just
because they accomplished something
it's
great.
a
You know?
sense of accomplishment after the workout. I think is huge. You know, And if you don't feel like you accomplished something post workout, you probably need to find a new workout routine.
Yep.
I mean,
Exactly.
honestly. But as far as like As far as punishment with exercise, for myself, you know, I think we had this discussion before.
We have. I've talked to this before.
But I think it's, as long as the punishment fits the crime, I think that, that's the scenario. So as long as
So just
if they don't want to take the trash out, do 50 push-ups. Now take the trash out because you don't want to put that effort in.
Yep.
So just coupling it on top. If it's another thing where they need to go sit in their room and think about what they did, I'm not going to have them do push-ups. I'm going to have them go sit in their room. So it's just based on the child and the occasion.
Well, most of it's like, say, if my son snaps back at me, no, that's not how you're going to talk to me. Give me one. So one time I made him do 500 overhead arm claps, right? So I was like, all right, champ. My son's name's Kadrian, champ. So I go, all right, champ. I was like, I need you to do 500 arm claps, all right? You have 5 minutes. Use your 5 minutes how you want to, and you get out. He gets 200 in. He's used 4 minutes of his rest, and I was like, man, these next ones are gonna suck, man. So I don't know. I just wanted to fit that in there real quick. All right. So my next question is. This is back to high school sports. Okay, so we're back in high school or even middle school. 3-sport athletes compared to single-sport athletes. So what do you guys favor? What do you think is I'm going to argue whatever you guys say, just so you know. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to argue.
We may argue. Who knows?
Let's do it.
Go first with me.
Okay, you want me to go?
Sure. Hit it.
Okay. Well, so I like the fact of playing 3 sports just because it will help develop you as an overall athlete. You're working on different skills in every sport. So like wrestling, has a lot of skills that will translate to football. Track, a lot of skills that will translate to football. Really any sport has something that will kind of translate to another sport, even if it's, in a small way. So I think it is maybe kind of important to, maybe find something that you enjoy. But on top of that, I'm not saying you have to, if your kid doesn't enjoy playing a sport, maybe don't make them to play that sport. But I think it's important to, stay active during the whole time and, just kind of try to find ways to better yourself at whatever sport it is that you do enjoy. So,
and I think some of it is the process, right? So you talked on letting them play the sports they like and not what they don't like, but you have to go through a process to find what you do like. Right. So and they may need to push for certain sports, So getting them out there, exactly. Getting them out there and letting them and not forcing, but kind of push them in that sense to try new things. I think is really important, and I think once they hit a certain age or have tried enough to really understand what their focus is or what their talents are, then they can start to take on those sports later as time progresses. So I think I talk about like golfers, wrestling and golf aren't going to apply to one another really. You're not going to benefit from one to the other. Especially with your skill sports, your focused skill sports. I feel like that may be something you have to put more focus into. Your athletics, strength, and explosiveness. Those sports, I think you can combine several sports and still benefit really well. So it's just breaking down what their talents are, and if there's other sports that can help them benefit. Push to have them involved in those sports. If it's very focused and you don't feel like it's going to be a benefit to increase their sport they have the most talent in, then maybe you start to find leagues that are all year round or something like that, and let them be involved in those for a longer period of time.
So here's my thought process. So my son plays baseball. He's going to play football next year as a 7th grader, if we have football. And he plays basketball, right? Football, I don't know how good he is yet. He hasn't played yet. I didn't let him play as a young kid. I wanted to wait till he was 7th grade. And I was like, that's the first year you're going to play. Baseball, he's, at first he started off, he wasn't the best baseball player, but he's in a competitive league. He wasn't the worst. But now he's starting to take those strides. Like, hey, it's starting to click. He's getting to go. Like he's getting up there now. And then basketball, he's always been at the top of his class in basketball. You know what I mean? So now once he hits like, I think freshman year is like the last year. I'm gonna be okay with him playing 3 sports. You know, and if he's at the point where like, okay, it's time to start looking for D1 scholarships and to start looking for like maybe D2. D2 is not a bad way to go either. That's not, people always think D1 or bust. D2 is a great way to go. D2 guys go pro, you know?
Yeah, if you can, I mean,
But-
any way you can get assistance for paying for school,
Oh my
college
God,
sucks.
exactly,
So,
right?
I
And
mean,
so like,
find that way.
exactly. And so like, my thing is, if he's like, one, like, hey, you got baseball and football, you got baseball and basketball, either one of them, like, you can go. You can do this, you know. But we're going to start, I think it's time to start picking, you know, just to help yourself out in the long run, you know. I mean, maybe you look at yourself like, hey, I'm not going to go D1. I'm not going to go D2, and I'm okay with that, you know. I'm a great athlete, like, because even, like, guys, like, we went to JUCO, you went NAIA, like, we were good athletes. I think we're the best athletes in our high school, probably, you know. And guess what? We didn't go D1, you know, so it's not bad not to go D1. But if you have an opportunity to go D1, I think, hey, we need to focus on one because this is a great opportunity. And I mean, I'm also a sports-minded guy first. That's hard for me people give me a hard time because I'm like, school, you know. But school is super important, and I wish I took it serious when I was in high school.
And I think that, like, just being, a lot of kids, like myself, like, I just like to be part of a team. You know,
Yeah,
I like that, like, brotherhood, you know, so like being part of the football team, or even though wrestling's more individual based, like just being part of that wrestling team, and you know, like, even though it is individual, you have your weight class separate from everybody else, like there's a different kind of bond with a wrestling team.
Yeah,
like,
there's that team
so
aspect to it,
being
too.
part of all that, I think, is important too, and I think
And the weirdness wrestlers have. If you want to meet some weird people, man, run into a wrestler or two,
Yeah.
talk to them for a little bit.
yeah, I think I learned something different from wrestling than I did from football, and vice versa. You know, with any sport I played, and I think each of them has helped develop me. You know, as far as like my life lessons, as opposed to just that sport specific. So, exposing to those other aspects, I think, is good.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so did you guys play 3 sports, or how many sports did you guys play growing up?
I play I did a lot of sports when I was young, but I played in high school. I just played football and wrestled. Off season was weight training time, and
I just burped, so I
yeah.
just know that.
yeah.
Protein burp. Yeah, me and Landon actually played football and wrestled against each other for a long time. Like we have wrestled against each other since like 7th grade, I think. Man. Like maybe I think even
before that.
I
It
think
is
so.
before
I
that.
think it was like 5th grade actually. 5th
Yeah,
grade to
so
high
early.
school. But yeah, that was fun times. Fun
Like-
times.
My nemesis there, got it.
Well, Landon could always beat the guys that I couldn't beat, and it pissed me off all the
But Brandon always beat me. So.
because I was a leg rider. That's the only reason. Landon could beat everybody, but I just had my technique. He just couldn't get past, you know. I don't know what it was. Landon was probably the better wrestler. I just had I just had the technique, to be honest. He is a harder worker, though, for sure. That was for sure. I'll be 100% honest. What about you?
I mean, growing up, I played a whole bunch of sports, but once I got into high school, I just played 3, football, basketball, and baseball.
What position did you play?
And football?
All of them.
Football, linebacker, basketball, just kind of wherever. And then
Like
baseball.
1 through 3?
1 through 5, man.
No way. Oh, I guess you're Ball Vein, Kansas, though.
I may not have been the tallest guy on the court, but
You got some
I
hops.
had the biggest
Could you
heart.
dunk? Could you dunk? I had the biggest heart. That's a totally thing you say to white people. Oh man, he has a big motor. Sorry. Sorry. Could you dunk?
No. No.
In baseball.
Baseball, played third base.
Third base? And what position? You play a linebacker, right?
Yeah, linebacker, fullback, a little bit of running back.
You got to play both ways in high school.
Yeah, I didn't play both ways.
We had to play both ways.
I was the only one on my team that didn't play both ways. I was a running back. That's what I played.
No
Wrestled.
one on our team got to play both ways.
And I ran track. I was a 200 and 400. I was running the 200, 400. All right, real quick. And so this question actually was from someone on Instagram. My phone is dead, so I couldn't look her up, so I'm super sorry. It's Ashes something. Ashes like 3. There's an Ashes 3 in there, I think. Can you look her up for me? Oh, but what her question was is she has a
Is it this one?
10-year-old. Yeah, so it's Ash's 1287. So she has a 10-year-old who plays, not plays, she does Taekwondo. And so sometimes she has like 10 matches, or like 10 like combat, whatever you want to call them. What would it be? It's matches, right? So it's 10 matches a day, you know. And sometimes by the end, she's, of course, you're gonna be exhausted, right? So what are some things that she can do for her 10-year-old during the day of the meet and maybe a couple days before? You know what I mean? You know from wrestling, like we used to wrestle, I used honey. That was my thing. Honey was like,
and wrestling's a whole different world because you have to weigh in and sometimes multiple times, and you have to
cut
maintain
weight too.
You have to maintain energy and you have to maintain your weight,
Yeah.
which is rough. As far as like what she's talking about, I would say like number one is making sure to rest. I think it's always more important. So let's say her meet or her matches are on a Saturday. Focus on that Thursday night. She's going to be nervous on Friday, right? Going into it, so she's probably not going to sleep well one way or another. But take that Thursday and really focus on getting that rest on Thursday.
Yeah,
right. So that way, you absorb it, and then if you have a rough night Friday, you still had that good day before. And then as far as just like the nutrition, hydration number one, keep her hydrated. That's where the majority of our energy is going to come from. We throw that food on top of it, our body's just going to work more efficiently, and then you can get through those days. But like you said, like just being smart about and finding what works for her. So at 10 years old, she's probably got several more years of being competitive, I would say. So, start to try different things.
Heck yeah.
Like don't limit yourself to what Brandon does or what I do. We've found what works for us. And try different things with her and different timing of that food throughout the day, and just find what works for her and take that time, because if you do a couple months of that and learn from it, she's going to benefit for several years after that.
Heck yeah.
So a little bit of time to get those benefits is worth it.
Yeah, the reason I did honey was because like what Landon said, we had to weigh in on a 2-day tournament. Honey doesn't take that much weight, and it gives me that quick energy for the match.
Yeah.
So that's why I did that.
Yeah, I would say stay away from maybe those higher sugars that aren't going to do anything else for you. So maybe look at more nutrient dense, simple sugars if you're gonna go that way. If you need a quick burst, complex carbs, so that way you have some more sustainable energy. But don't go for the easy thing. Don't go to the concession stand and buy Laffy Taffy or something like that.
Say that Laffy Taffy.
Right. Unless she only has one match that day, don't do that. Find something that's going to benefit her for that longer duration. So.
Yeah, use that for after she wins. I think her daughter's been going for a purple belt. Is there purple belts? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I think she's going for a purple belt soon, so that's pretty cool. I just thought I'd throw that out there. I got you.
Cool.
Cole?
I think he's got it. I don't have anything to add to that.
No? Oh, he nailed it all?
He got it all.
Yeah, well, Landon's,
Nailed it.
well, Landon's the smart one, I guess.
I'd agree.
He rolled his eyes.
Sorry. I'm sorry, I was being an a-hole. All right. What time are we at? 9 minutes? Ooh, man. I can talk for 9 more minutes. You guys want to talk for 9 more minutes? Landon, what's your favorite workout group?
Like the groups that I train?
No, like
No.
Like,
if
a
you were-
body part.
If you were to work out, what would your favorite?
I was gonna say, man, I can't do that to my clients. I don't have
Jeff,
favorites.
Jeff from Michigan.
I don't have favorites, guys. Body parts of work. Honestly, like it fluctuates. Like I go really like, I try to stick to somewhat of a regimen, but it's also like what's gonna feel good this day. What do I need that day? Like if I just need to mentally like kill something, I'm probably gonna go like chest and arms. If I want to, but if I'm looking at what's the best situation for me, and I'm a little bit more on routine, I know that I benefit more from doing legs than anything else. So hitting those leg days, a minimum once, twice a week. I would say. So on one side, what I enjoy the most is obviously like the show muscle, the fun stuff.
You like to watch your muscle. What do you call it? Muscle connectivity? Is that what you call it? like you think about the
Oh
muscle?
yeah.
What's that, what do
It's
you call
like
that?
it's like put your mind in the muscles. Like
Okay,
my go-to saying, like
yeah.
think about the muscle, squeeze the muscle like you're squeezing a sponge. So whenever you flex something, you don't just want to move a weight around. Like
Yeah.
you do that all day long. You just move weight around, and it's not focused or concentrated the way we want to do in the gym. So it's like putting that mind in the muscle, taking that extra time and squeezing. Like you want to get everything out of it whenever you squeeze a sponge, right? It's the same thing with squeezing that weight and going through that motion. So
I've tried, like, since I've met you both, like, I've been trying to do that more. Like, but the thing is, like, I always get like 7 in, like, oh shoot, I need to, okay, yeah, shoulders back, you know. So I know, but it's tougher. Once you start doing it, you do feel a difference. And Kevin last time talked about he likes to watch his. I don't know. I think maybe he says that muscle. That's the
No,
thing I said. Well,
I
don't know what I
agree
said
with
now.
that because you can watch that thing like cinch down as you
Yeah.
flex. So that's why there's mirrors in the gym.
I
love
think
me
that
a
makes
gym
it
mirrors.
easier. Like if you can see yourself, I think that makes it easier to think about it too. Think about what muscle you're using. If you can see that muscle contracting, moving.
Maybe that's why. Maybe the gym. Maybe I just do that without even realizing it, though. You know, just by watching myself. I'm always just like, I don't know. I just love gym mirrors.
It's like habit for me now.
Even when I walk in and I haven't lifted a muscle, like lift a weight yet, like I still look bigger in a gym. Though. Yeah.
I have
It's
this
some
problem.
mentality going in, man. It's like I'm gonna come in here and kill it, like, and they just kind of get you going. You get to look at yourself, so that way, like, you look into yourself before your workout, and you just go to war.
And then I go to the bar and I try to talk to a girl and I'm like, man, I don't feel like I look as good. Oh shoot. What else? What other questions do we have?
Well, I was just going to say on top of that, so there's this one time where, Landon did have an injury, so I see why he did this, but I swear it had to be 2 months. Landon did curls every day.
Every day?
So
Yeah,
you were talking
I
about, he was talking about like, trying to hit every muscle and sit but he literally did curls every day
I
stood
figured,
about 2 foot in front of that mirror and did curls every day.
I figured
But that's why he has these
if you
biceps.
Yeah, these things are
if you have an injury and you're not able to do the majority, you might as well do a lot of what you can do,
Yeah, you're
right? So just rep it, like
Right.
just go.
So here's my one question I have for both of you, and then I'm gonna call it. I want some big old blood veins, and I want them to just start popping everywhere. How do I get my blood veins to just like? There's one dude who's a good friend of mine. He calls them blood tubes, by the way. They're freaking super cool. But he has like this big vein. It starts from here, and you can just see it go down his entire arm. Like, how do I get it where my blood veins just look super amazing?
I think some of it's just genetics and natural. Some people are just that way, vascular. For me, obviously, like getting like some of the workouts and nitric oxide and stuff like that, can enhance that. And then, like with myself, I eat beets like basically every day. They're a super high nitrate food, increases nitric oxygen in your body. Helps with blood flow.
Well, if beets
I
give
feel-
me
I feel
blood
like they
veins,
help.
I will eat beets. Because Landon eats them straight out of the can. And then he's just like, hey, you want some beets? I'm like, no, dude, you
I
don't.
always offer.
Oh, it's so gross. Ugh.
Offering everybody my beets, no one wants them.
No, I don't. But, I don't know. I don't have any more questions. You have any more questions? Well, hey, Landon, I just want to say, man, thanks for letting me film here, me and Cole. I know this is probably my favorite time of the week is when we film these things. I know Cole said
I
that.
love
Oh, my God, it's fun. But awesome place. I mean, boxing rink. You got the things. That's super sick, man.
The things.
What are those called? Punching bags?
things
You
all
got
over.
things in your
Landon
gym.
has the things.
He's got the things. Oh, I hate
Things
you.
everywhere.
Like, that's how you know you have good friends. You know what I mean? If you say something stupid, they make you feel stupid. You got the things, but you got a big tire, and
And some other stuff.
and you got some stuff there.
Other things,
You got walls and. But hey, man, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yes, sir.
I hope you're a regular. I know you're a busy dude. I know you got a busy schedule, but
No, I enjoy it just like you guys do. I think it's fun to talk about this thing and get different perspectives on
yeah,
everything.
and fitness is everyone likes fitness. I mean, Cole's okay at fitness. He looks better than me. Oh, I feel stupid. But all right, man. Thanks for coming on. I love you, man. You have anything else? Nope. All right, that's good.